I'm Jonas Kingsley, and thank you for joining me for episode 14 of Young Geniuses, the documentary series where each week we showcase a new young genius. This week's young genius is young Robert G. Miller, who has taken the art of paper airplane making to new heights. Young Robbie's story begins in Harlem, April 1st, 1974, when he was born to 15-year-old Greta Nelson and 47-year-old Robert Miller Sr. Shortly after his birth, Robbie's parents ran off to get married, accidentally leaving young Robbie behind to be raised by neighbors and various rodents. 2 years later, Robbie's parents returned. Robbie spent many of his days on the street trying to stay out of trouble, but occasionally found himself hustling for candy money. Then, in 1986, Robbie's parents finally decided it was time to escape the turmoils of inner-city life and moved the family to Detroit, this time bringing young Robbie along. Robbie attended Best Junior High in a suburb where he was not readily accepted and was severely beaten every day at lunch and sometimes after school. It was here that he first encountered this man. In a brief time, Robbie was off to high school, where he fit in a bit more and was only beaten on Thursdays at 3:15. Robbie befriended the local idiot Ed. They spent much of their time laughing with one another and drawing faces on Ed's 11th toe. Robbie had difficulty in this part of his life. He developed an identity crisis common with adolescence, and for 20 minutes in his junior year, Robbie thought he was a ghost. But soon, it was back to reality. As Robbie's friendship grew with Ed, they began theorizing alternatives to paper airplanes and occasionally hustled for candy money. Their first idea was to fashion a paper airplane out of cement, but soon found difficulty in getting it to fold evenly. The next move was to wood, then to steel, and they eventually moved to cattle. It would be in this experiment that Ed would lose his life. Robbie soon fell into a shallow, barely noticeable depression that lasted for days. Then he went to a party where he was introduced to this man, P.T. Jenkins, and attempted to look up the nose of this man, whom Robbie thought he knew but couldn't quite place. Robbie and P.T. formed a bond much as Robbie had with Ed, and in 1991 they each holed up in Robbie's basement and continued to research paper airplanes. Then tragically, 2 weeks later, young P.T. perished in an unrelated electrical fire 12 blocks away. Again, depression. But Robbie was resilient, and he bounced back, some said, in no time at all. Robbie would never see this man again, until one day, by way of a miscommunication, they accidentally took each other to the prom. They were both secure enough in their own heterosexuality to hold hands and dance one special slow dance. Then, on November 27th, 1991, at 2:37 p.m., Robbie G. Miller Jr., home, sick with the flu, reached for a common, ordinary Kleenex. Then, struck with a vision, he laid the Kleenex flat and began to fold the tissue. In a matter of moments, Robbie had fashioned this. The world's first paper airplane that you could blow your nose on. Ingenious. But Robbie's story didn't end there. 2 months later, Robbie disappeared, vanished, without a trace. To this day, no one knows where Robbie is. Join us next time, when we will be showcasing a young man, a young genius, who has developed over 100 ways to use the common household banana. Good night.